Good morning, everybody. Good morning to our panelists this morning, Zola and Hannes from the Property Point team, and good morning to all our attendees as well. The weather in Joburg is a bit grey today, so I hope everyone else has some good weather wherever they're dialing in from. Please let us know at the bottom of in the chat if you are from anywhere else in the country. We'll be kicking off the session at this point in time, actually. So good morning once again, and welcome to Entrepreneurship to the Point. It's the platform that informs, equips, and inspires entrepreneurs from all walks of life, and also to ensure that we can be of assistance for you to thrive in your business, especially during this time of COVID-19. Entrepreneurship to the Point, as the name says, is all about getting to the point around issues that's really pertaining to how entrepreneurs can thrive in an environment of uncertainty, as well as we have now during the COVID-19 crisis. And the creation of building an ecosystem through networking, access to information, learning opportunities, and inspiration is also how we are able to just draw entrepreneurs closer and ensure that we are able to create equal economic opportunities for all in South Africa and beyond. We want to encourage you guys to please subscribe to our newsletter. This can be found on www.ettp.co.za. Also make sure that will ensure that you also get all our communication. We also across all social media platforms at E to the Point on Twitter, Entrepreneurship to the Point everywhere else. Please check out the YouTube channel as well. This recording will be available on the YouTube channel. And once again, I did not introduce myself. I'm Sean Tienerson, and this morning we'll be hosting a session on just personal mastery, and during this time of crisis, how you as an entrepreneur can really link into what's important to you. How do you focus on the mindset that's really important to you? So on that note, I'm going to hand over to Zola and Hannes to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Good morning, Sean Tienerson. Thank you for that introduction. I'm Zola Mzegandaba, the host with the most, the one with an effervescent personality. Those that really know me, they call me the Joy of Jazz. Hopefully today I'll be extremely instrumental in proceedings, basically facilitating the session on personal mastery. I've got a lovely guest, which is a qualified business coach and seasoned business advisor in the property and related space. His name is Mr. Hannes Steyn. Hannes, good morning. How are you today?
Zola, good morning. Yeah, thank you. It's a bit cloudy, as Sean has alluded to, but it's I think it's shining in my life and shining in my heart. So we're ready to go, and we're ready to assist the businesses and the listeners. So good morning to the listeners as well, people tuned in. Hopefully that this session will be empowered, uplifting, sharing in what needs to happen in crisis, and what personal mastery has to do with crisis management. So thank you, Zola.
Thank you so much, Hannes, for that. During the past couple of days since the lockdown, we've seen a multitude of different financial instruments with a lot of different relief funds, which is very important, for an entrepreneur, particularly an SME. I've been having conversations with different colleagues and different industry experts, and the general sentiment is that all these funds are good and well. However, are entrepreneurs really understanding what these funds are about, like the fine print? Are they understanding that these are really financial instruments which are based on debt? And is it important, or is it advisable for these entrepreneurs to use debt to service their operational expenditure right now for something that they won't yield a return for? Will this put them in a worse off position in the future? So all these questions have resulted in me begging the question that these answers really lie in understanding yourself as a human being. And this is where personal mastery comes in, whether you understand that for my business is leveraging and using debt to finance operational expenditure wise. So it always speaks to what we call at Entrepreneurship to the Point, the jockey as well as the horse. The jockey being the entrepreneur and the entrepreneurial mind, and the horse being the organization itself. So today we'll be speaking a lot on the jockey and the entrepreneurial mind, and we have Hannes here who will be assisting us during all this time. But before I forget, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter at www.ettp.co.za and all our other social media platforms, particularly Twitter. You'll find us at E2The and on all our other social media platforms like your LinkedIn, we are Entrepreneurship to the Point. And do also subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is also airing right now on our YouTube channel. I'm going to start off with a couple of questions, which I'll direct to Hannes, just to start off easy and trying to understand and grasp what personal mastery is. This is a subject that I'm not really an expert on. So Mr. Hannes Steyn, can you please explain to us what personal mastery is, and particularly for an entrepreneur in the SME space?
Azola, thank you. Yes. It is, I think it's a privilege just to share with those who are tuned in and those who are listening. And what I will do is just to give a brief summary on what personal mastery is. It's a broad subject, and we don't have time to really get into the theory of it, but relating to what is actually happening around us. We find ourselves in what people call the crisis. And in time of crisis, true colors comes out. They say that a crisis situation will make you, or it will break you, and that's really true to what's happening currently. Is that there's people rising to the occasion, and there's unfortunately people that are not. And I think personally, mastery has got a lot to do with our approach to crisis and beyond. So just a short introduction and a very simple introduction to what personal mastery is. It's almost just in the word personal mastery, it's just almost self-explanatory. But in Peter Senge's book, The Fifth Discipline, where he defines personal mastery as the following, that it is a discipline of personal learning and growth towards a desired future. I'm just going to say it's a discipline of personal learning and growth towards a desirable future or desired future. Now, this is important. In other words, what he is saying that there should be and there is a better version of ourselves. And that we can call, there's a lot of things we can call this, but it's basically comes down to self-empowerment for a cause. A person with personal mastery, or a person that has in the process of personal mastery, and that can be a lifelong journey of personal mastery, is a person that understands his purpose in life. So the focus is on yourself. The focus is on my own development so that I can manifest in this world accurately, that I can be of benefit or to the greater good and to the bigger picture. So it's a person with a definite purpose in life. It is a person with a clear vision in life. And then it's also a person that's understanding their current realities and where they are at. So that's the facts. So it's not airy-fairy stuff. It's really a whole process of learning, of self-empowerment, so that I can reach my vision and that I've got a definite purpose to manifest accurately in the bigger picture in life. So that is just to understand that it's a process, and it's not a quick fix. So when we're talking about crisis or personal mastery in this crisis situation, It's not a 5-point plan. It is more of an attitude in manifestation, who you are, what you believe in, and where you are moving to. So that is what we need in a time like this. And that's why I say that some people are rising to the occasion. We hear it and we see it on social media. They're rising to the occasion. They see this whole challenge as a glass half full and not half empty. So that's the kind of person. They've got insight in how to manage this crisis situation. Yes, we all go through, we all feel it. There's anxiety. It is close to us. We do experience the emotions to this, that we are seeing death and experience death and loss. But it's a person that rises above this situation in saying, listen, and this is the focus for me this morning, to take action, not to be passive, but to take action. So that's the level of personal mastery that we need to look at in this crisis times. Those people that are rising above what is happening, taking action, not being passive, being creative and innovative. And that's what the personal mastery is all about in the time of crisis, what we're going to discuss. And then when it comes out, so that's just in broad personal mastery as a discipline. So again, it's all to do with understanding my purpose and knowing my purpose in life. I've got a personal vision. And in this process, I am empowering myself to reach that vision in a bigger picture. Whether it's in my family, very important, whether it's in my family, whether it's in society, whether it's as a business owner, or in my career, that level of personal mastery will ultimately influence my environment for the bigger good. And that's what we're going to look at specifically. And this is where the small business owners comes in this morning. And the whole focus in crisis is to understand the current reality, to understand what is happening, and to take action. Take action is very important, to take action and not waiting for things to happen. So we're going to go back to what you have, the analogy in a jockey and the horse, where, as you alluded to, the jockey is the business owner. That's the human part of the whole structure. And then you've got the horse that's just representing the business, the cold processes and systems. So if we look at the jockey and the horse, now this is specifically focused on the business owner, the SMME, that's currently facing the uncertainties and challenges. So what personal mastery is saying, that the jockey takes control, that the jockey is in control, that the jockey is the one that guides and steers, not the horse. So the jockey is the one that plans. The jockey is the one that empowers. The jockey is the one that gives direction. The jockey is the one with his team planning the race beforehand. So it's all to do with planning. It's all to get to a place of being in control. Now, to start off with, we are not in control. We were not in control. There was a lot of stuff around uncertainties, but we need to make a decision as the jockey on the horse to say, listen, I have to be in control of what is happening. I have to be in control of what is happening in my business, where my business is going to and beyond. So that's very important for a business owner to understand, that they should take action, they should take control in a situation like this. Yes, getting support outside, getting the insights and information, accurate information, whether from reputable or trustworthy sources, get information and take action, get a plan together, get in control of the situation, and make things happen. Whereas if you're going to leave everything for the horse or the business, or you are going to be passive and you're not going to take control, the situation will run away with you. And and that's not the place where we as business owners or small business owners wants to be in a time of this crisis. So I think the focus is, what am I going to do right now? Take control and take action. And that's the level of personal mastery that those SMMEs, business owners, whoever they find themselves, they need to embrace. They need to make that decision to say, listen, I have to do something right now.
All right, fantastic, Hannes. I think you gave quite a comprehensive explanation there. I took two odd points which stood out to me quite well. It's the one of a vision and a desirable future, as well as understanding your current reality. How I see it as a bystander, understanding your current reality is not being in a denialist, state of mind, because you're finding some people prior to the lockdown, were really a bit denialist about the COVID virus, as well as just the general lockdown in terms of how it's going to affect businesses. So the desirable future and vision, I suppose, for a lot of entrepreneurs, I don't know if you might agree, would be to ensure that their company continues to be a going concern, post the lockdown. But given all of that, as you said, it's about controlling the jockey. And I don't know if some businesses feel that they are in control. The conversations I've been having with a lot of entrepreneurs, people are feeling a bit anxious and feeling that they are not in control at this time. And given what we are talking about, the topic today on personal mastery, some people might be thinking this is a bit of pie in the sky, some stuff which is very soft, and some people would prefer more technical issues. So would you agree with this school of thought of that, we need more technical issues and maybe less focus on the entrepreneurial mind? Or are you of the opinion that we should be focusing more on the entrepreneurial mind and personal mastery in general?
Look, yes, I think it's, it's in the environment or the place that we find ourselves in, it's almost obvious to say, listen, but this is all airy-fairy stuff. And then, what's got all this emotional theory to do with, concrete. What I need is concrete opportunities. What I need is concrete support, whether it's in the form of financial assistance. And that's quite true. But the mind of the state of mind of a business owner is very important in a time like this, because you have to make decisions right now. And yes, we might not be in control, but we can get in control. And that's why I suggest, and I think it's just the right thing to do for many owners or small business owners who don't feel in control. There's a lot of uncertainties, and that's what. But to connect with information, connect with people that can support, connect with people that can give advice. That's why advisors are so important in a time like this, because it is uncertain times, and I think your mind can really run away with you. But personal mastery is really saying, listen, I cannot do this on my own. Yes, I've got a vision. I've got this business that I really don't want to let go, although things are not looking, but I'm going to do. So that's the decision you make. It's a definite decision. I'm going to get information, and then I will make informed decision, putting a plan together to make it work. So that for me is concrete, because if you're going to stay on that place of uncertainty, you are going to get into a place of negativity, and then a place of things are not going to go well. But if you make a decision to say, listen, I'm making the decision to come in control, or to get to a place where I am in control by using the information, accurate, trustworthy resources, advisors, mentors, people that can assist, making an informed decision, getting a plan together. I really believe you can move forward. So that's all about an attitude. It is a mind thing. You make a decision in a time like this. So it's not airy-fairy. Personal mastery is saying, I'm making a decision, and based on my decision, this and this and this can happen. But there's a decision to put a plan together, to get the advice, and to move forward. In fact, it is as simple as that. That is all about taking control and acting.
Okay, so Hannes, sorry, just a question from the side, and also encouraging everyone to use the chat to ask a question. So we've got a question from Karina, and you've kind of shared about taking control, and it's a discipline, but are there practical stuff that people can do around taking control, specifically where everything else feels like it's out of control at this point in time?
Yes, Sean, a person with a level of personal mastery will get to a place where you are focusing on the things that you can control, and not the things that you cannot control. And obviously, there's a lot of things in this time that we cannot control. But my focus is, so I need to sift through all the information, through all what is happening currently in my head, my thoughts, my emotions, and get to a place, and this is where personal mastery comes in, gives me ability to say, listen, I'm going to focus on the things that I can control. So what I can control is my decision making. What I can control is going out, get information. Again, whether it's advisors, whether it's mentors, whether it's trustworthy resources, and make a decision on the information that I have, right? So it also positions me then. It also positions me to be more creative and to think innovative and to think outside the box, to think differently. But that's what personal mastery does. It puts me in a position when I take control.
Thank you for that, Hannes. On my side, I suppose personal mastery in practical terms, I don't know, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but like it would be something like, because you speak of planning. So at a moment like this, personal mastery can be something that you could have done prior, like things like contingency plans, having different scenarios, like scenario planning. So this speaks primarily how I'm receiving the information. It speaks to things like operational planning, making sure that you have plans in place and that your strategy documents are aligned with your operational plans. And over and above that, having effective communication between your strategic leaders as well as people in your operational team. So that speaks to effective communication. And also not just communicating at a high level using big words, but communicating at a level where everyone in the organization will be able to understand. And this speaks primarily to what's happening in our polls. I'll tell you right now, in our polls, we've been asking whether personal mastery is something that should be cultivated as part of your organizational culture. I see 97% of the respondents believe that personal mastery should be something that is part of organizational culture. And yeah, that speaks to using it in a practical manner, which is usable in everyday business as operations. And on that note, please remember to feel free to contribute and ask questions. Questions are encouraged. This is a platform to engage, to equip and inspire. So one other question, Mr. Steyn, in economics, there's something which is called a recognition lag. So essentially meaning like in policy development or even when we look at the macroeconomic policy response of South Africa to the lockdown, that some of the measures that have been put in place will only be recognized in the next quarter or at the end of the year, or possibly even in 2021, which really ties up with perhaps what we've been just speaking about planning. So how can entrepreneurs right now basically plan for this? Or alternatively, what would be the consequences of neglecting personal mastery right now? You know, perhaps maybe focus on what would the consequences be for neglecting personal mastery at this point, given the recognition lag we speak about that the businesses will experience the consequences possibly in the near to medium future.
Yeah, look, Azola, if, you know, it might even be too late if you don't have anything, if you don't have a proper contingency plan in place. It might be too late. I'm not saying it is too late, because there can be interventions to support. But the consequences of not having, the consequences of not taking control in business, or let's get back to the, you know, to the personal mastery. If you are at a place where the business is driving you, or the horse is in control and not yourself, if you're at a place where there's a lot of uncertainties, and this comes now, and this is all business practice, and there's not certain specific things that you have in place in your business. For you in this time, in this competitive time that we find ourselves in currently, it would be very difficult to, you know, to get your ducks in a row, to get, you know, to be a business going forward. There's a lot happening in our current landscape, and there's a lot of, so we don't know exactly how things are going to turn out, but it's very important now to make a decision now, you know, to get your, let's call it just a saying, to get your ducks in a row in your business, making sure that you're or understanding where you are financially, being honest with yourself. Sit down with your accountant, for instance, have a look and let the hard facts speak to you, and make a decision from there on where you want to go. But to continue the way that you have done things before, and the way that you've done business before, whether it's with regards to your financial planning, if any, whether it's regards to your sales plan and marketing, whether it's regards to your operational and skills development and capacity and so on. You know, you can still save business in going forward, but it has to be a very honest chat with advisors, discussion with advisors to help you moving forward. And this is where personal mastery comes in. You must understand, you should understand on this road of personal mastery, to understand who you are. You must and you should understand your current reality. Some people are living in a dream world, you know, and it's obviously not wrong to have a dream, but the current reality is as important as the vision that you have. And for you to understand right now that I cannot do business the way I've done it before. I need to really re-look at my business, revamp, to be relevant, and to really have business in going forward. So unfortunately, there will be consequences for many. It's just how it's a cruel world out. It's the business world. With the uncertainties, not knowing how this is going to turn out, but with intervention and participation, and with sheer determination and resilience, and that and personal mastery is also speaking about my purpose. You know, that strong drive to make this thing work. For that to be present, you know, that will help a lot in going forward.
Okay, Hannes, just to maybe ask a final question from one of our attendees as well, and just to bring everything to a close. So just give us a brief perspective on it. So we've got a question here from Tsepo Malaka, and he says, hi, Hannes, as well as the panelist. What tools can we use to measure our progress with respect to personal mastery? How does one determine whether you are improving in this discipline from day 1 to, say, day 21?
Okay. Yeah, there's a simple tool. There's these various tools that you can use, but a very simple tool that we can start off with is really basically reflection. So that is a reflection, is a discipline that we, in today's life and in business, we just run from day to day, but we don't sit down and reflect and think about what has happened in the day. What is the learnings? What is the failures? And how can I work on that? So there's different tools that we can make available, to help with tracking your progress. So reflection is one. Number two is having a mentor, or speaking to a mentor, connecting to somebody that you trust, or that you can trust, because they are observing, they see you, and they should be very honest to track your progress and to have that input in your life. So that's just there's many tools that we can use, but reflection definitely, it's something that that we should look at. Learning on a day-to-day basis, sitting down in the evening, thinking about this was success, this was failure, this is where I can work on, this could be my behavior, and this is the plan.
Okay. Thanks,
Yeah.
Hannes. I think that thank you, Zola and Hannes, for the session. Very insightful. And I think that one of the key factors is that we need to focus during this time, not just on our businesses, but also on ourselves, not just on the horse, but also on the jockey. So thank you once again for the session on personal mastery. Just to give you guys some insights in terms of some of the other webinars that we'll be hosting. We've been working quite extensively with some of the relief funds to be able to bring that information to you. This afternoon, we'll be hosting another webinar at 2:30 with the CEO of SA Tourism, Sisa Nshona, unpacking the tourism fund. The 200 million has been made available for SMMEs within the tourism space. Please go and register on our website at ettp.co.za for updates. Tomorrow is another jam-packed day of information. We'll be hosting Estienne de Klerk. He is the spokesperson for the property industry group, and we'll be speaking about the retail relief packages that they've put together for SMMEs within the retail space. That's taking place tomorrow at as well as a session with Tumi Sefelo. She's from SIFA, is the executive for direct lending, and we'll be unpacking the DSBD relief funds. All this information will be available on our website. We'll be sharing it on all the social media channels as well, and also in the chat below. So if you need more information, please do sign up for these webinars. It's definitely going to be insightful having the people unpack these various relief funds. Thank you so much once again for joining us, and hopefully we'll see all of you back this afternoon for our webinar with Sisa and Shona unpacking the SMME relief package from the SA Tourism. Thank you.